بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Chapter 15 says باب وصول ثواب الصدقة عن الميت إليه. حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها أن رجلا قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن أمي اقتتلت نفسها، أو قال حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها أن رجلا قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن أمي افتتلت نفسها وأظنها لو تكلمت تصدقت فهل لها أجر إن تصدقت عنها؟ قال نعم. Chapter 15 says, if one gives charity on behalf of a dead person, its reward will reach the intended dead person. Hadith 588 is narrated Aisha radiallahu anha. A man said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, my mother died suddenly, and I thought that if she had lived, she would have given alms. So if I give alms now on her behalf, will she get the reward? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied in the affirmative. The issues of zakah are many, and there are different rulings of zakah. Slash or comma, sadaqah. Slash or comma, one sadaqah and zakah are used interchangeably. When the word sadaqah is mentioned in a verse or hadith, but what's meant by it is actual zakah. So there are different issues, and there are different rulings and regulations, and from those rulings and regulations and those issues is giving sadaqah on behalf of a dead Muslim. Not for a living person, but for a dead person. I give the sadaqah with the intention of it reaching them and it being placed upon their scales of good deeds, even though they have passed and they have left this worldly life. That's what discussion is. That's what the discussion is of this chapter. Before we move forward with the hadith, understand that this chapter heading is very important, crucially important, and that's because it pertains to so many different things. Number one, it's a link between two different worlds. Someone is alive and they're giving something on behalf of someone who's died. So as if the dunya and the akhirah are being linked together. You understand this? Then we have the concept of family ties. Love for your family, remembering, reflecting, and reminiscing on your deceased family members, and doing good for them after they have left. That's a huge part of life. Everyone understand this? From the Muslims and the non-Muslims. My father is dead. My mother is dead. I'm now living her legacy. That's why I've kept the family business. I no longer want to be involved in the family business. I sold it. Now, the food at the restaurant isn't the same since the second generation took over. Everyone understand this? A person is a great champion. They win. They become excellent. And before each game, they say, I know my father's watching me. I know my mother's watching me. I know my son or my brother or this dead person is what? I know they're listening to me. I know they're watching me. Right? Everyone understand this? The concept of the spirit world. Everyone understand this? And the connection and the attachment to spirits and family and deceased and dead, let alone a traumatic loss, suddenly died. This is a major part of life, all right? And the Muslims are not free from that. They're not exempt from that. And this is also a door or gateway towards many other issues and mistakes, such as innovations, in which the people, they start doing this for the dead and that for the dead, and a third and a fourth, and then it becomes, well, maybe the dead can hear us, and maybe the dead can see us. And then the other billah may turn into shirk. We offer this for the dead. Everyone understand this? So it's a gateway to many things. And one of the reasons why it is because, as I said, it's two worlds being merged together. I'm alive, and I'm giving sadaqah for myself. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, for the hereafter. That's one thing. But now this person is dead and gone, and I'm still giving them something. And I'm handing them something. I'm donating something for them. Everyone understand this? And now it increases now. Everyone understand this? So it's a very important concept in Islam with regards to our connection, attachment, lack of connection, lack of attachment, the relation between this world and the next. Are we understanding this? The flesh and the spirit, let alone family ties. Naam, and the power of family ties and of blood and of lineage and genealogy. For or against? Are we understanding this? For or against? Are we understanding this? Those who did not accept Islam because of family ties. Those who did accept Islam because of family ties. Those people who are living today who really don't practice Islam. They're just Islam through blood, through name. That's pretty much it. And then someone is a revert Muslim, a non-Muslim, they accepted Islam and they practice Islam with more passion and more fervor than someone who's born and raised Muslim. Are we understand this? Tayyib? And we have many issues regarding this in the Quran al-Kareem. Allah, He explains to us about those who believe. وَاتَّبَعَتْهُمْ ذُرِّيَّتُهُمْ بِإِيمَانٍ, and their children follow them. Allah says that we will take their children and we will do what? Bump them up, level them up. And we won't diminish or decrease the deeds of the fathers min shay. Everyone understand this? Allah, He mentions this in the Quran about those who believe. وَاتَّبَعَتْهُمْ, and their dhurriyat, their children, their progeny, follow them in iman. Al-haqnahum, Allah says we will what? Take them, if they're on a lower level, and put them on a what? A higher level. But without decreasing or diminishing the reward of the parents. So you think about that now. I'm in Jannah, I was righteous, I was pious, but my children were sinners. Or my children, they just barely did the basic necessary things. Will I see them in paradise? Will I be with them in paradise? Everyone understand this? Will we be together in paradise? Everyone understand this? So the point is that the Quran has not neglected this spectacle and this phenomenon of the concept of lineage and family ties. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam talks about his father. وَلَا تُخْزِنِي يَوْمَ يُبْعَثُونَ, don't disgrace me on that day, O Allah. وَاغْفِرْ لِي أَبِي, forgive my father because he was from the what? He's from the Daleen, he was astray. Everyone understand this? Abu Talib. And there's verse after verse that talks about the concept of family ties, family lineage, Nuh and his son. إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ مِنْ, he's not from your family. إِنَّهُ عَمَلٌ غَيْرُ صَالِحٍ, don't ask me about this man who isn't your son because he isn't following you and listening to you. Everyone understand this concept here? So therefore, giving something on behalf of someone who is dead, Muslims, non-Muslims, etc. Talking about different issues of Sufism and the graves and the qubur and things like this pertains to this. And it is based off of this. The concept of going to the grave, speaking to the Prophet. Going to the grave, asking the Prophet. Going to the grave and offering for this person or that person. Everyone understand this? The concept of these spirits. And when they die, they just don't go away. Talk about Halloween, right? Haunted house. It's based off of what? Spirits in the spirit world. Everyone understand this? This spirit is now haunting this house. Everyone understand these things like this? Tayyib. So therefore, can you give something on behalf of someone who is dead? On behalf of someone who is dead. So this is هذه مسألة من مسائل الزكاة والصدقة. This is an issue and a ruling of giving zakah and paying what? And sadaqah. Everyone understand this? Tayyib. An-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he says in al-Minhaj regarding this hadith and also regarding this issue. He says, وَهَذَا لَا خِلَافَ فِيهِ. قال القاضي هكذا الرواية فيه قال ولا يصح غيره لأنه إنما سأل عما لم يفعله بعد. وفي هذا الحديث أن الصدقة عن الميت تنفع الميت ويصله ثوابها وكذلك بإجماع العلماء وكذا أجمعوا على وصول الدعاء وقضاء الدين بالنصوص الواردة في الجميع ويصح الحج عن الميت إذا كان حج الإسلام وكذا إذا وصى بحج التطوع على الأصح عندنا. واختلف العلماء في الصوم إذا مات وعليه صوم فالراجح جوازه عنه للأحاديث الصحيحة فيه والمشهور في مذهبنا أن قراءة القرآن لا يصله ثوابها وقال جماعة من أصحابنا يصله ثوابها وبه قال أحمد بن حنبل وأما الصلاة وسائر الطاعات فلا تصله عندنا ولا عند الجمهور وقال أحمد يصله ثواب الجميع كالحج. Very interesting. Know what he says. He says here, in this hadith is a proof that sadaqah, charity, benefits the deceased Muslim. And the reward of that charity will reach the deceased Muslim. The deceased Muslim, the Muslim who has died, and you give charity on his or her behalf, it will reach them. وَهُوَ كَذَلِكَ بِإِجْمَاعِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. He says, and there's no difference of opinion regarding this. It's consensus of all scholars, is that this is permissible and that this is from the sunnah. It's permissible and from the sunnah to give charity and to donate that charity for the deceased Muslim. Tayyib, moving forward. The scholars of Islam, they also unanimously agree upon dua and the benefit of dua for the deceased Muslim. You pray for them and it will help them. Them being protected from the punishment in the grave, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Jannah, hellfire, forgiveness, etc. Number 3, and paying off one's debts. Paying off the debts. He says, بِالنُّصُوصِ الْوَارِدَةِ فِي الْجَمِيعِ, because there are texts, there are hadiths concerning what? All of these issues. So we have 3 things: sadaqah, dua, and paying off the debt. Everybody clear on that? Tayyib, moving forward. He says, and it's also permissible, it's lawful, and it's valid to make hajj for the deceased Muslim if it is the mandatory hajj. Hajj al-Islam. The hajj that is obligatory. And not the hajj which is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th time. Number 5, or comma. And also, if a person puts in his wasiyah, what people call a will, make hajj on my behalf. I've made hajj 10 times. When I die, I want you to make hajj again. It's extra hajj. It's voluntary hajj. Naam? Tatawwa. Everyone understand this? He says, Alal asahi indana. He says, according to the strongest view, walaikum assalam, to us, meaning the Shafi'i scholars. And the other scholars who say what? No. Moving forward. The scholars of Islam, they differ on fasting. As-sawm, fasting. Someone dies, and there's fasting that remains upon them. It doesn't specify here mandatory fasting, Ramadan, or another, a vow. Al-muhim, sawm. Wa alayhi sawm. He says, in the strongest view is that it's permissible. It's permissible to make up fast for the deceased Muslim because of the authentic ahadith regarding that. Listen to the qaida, the golden rule. Lil ahadith as-sahihati. The authentic hadiths. So Fulan's madhab, Qadi Fulan, this one Fulan, he said no, he didn't know. It's insignificant if the authentic text is there. Everybody understand this? So this is a golden principle here, is that the madhab is subservient to what? The sunnah. And not the what? Opposite. A golden rule. Write that down. Underline that. The madhab, Shafi'i, Fulan, this one, that one, fi riwayatin, whatever, whoever it is, that comes second to the authentic sunnah. طيب, moving forward. He says, وَالْمَشْهُورُ فِي مَذْهَبِنَا, concerning the Shafi'i madhab, was well known is that a dead Muslim does not receive the reward of the Quran being recited on his behalf. It does not reach him. It doesn't go to him. وَقَالَ جَمَاعَةٌ مِنْ أَصْحَابِنَا, and other Shafi'i scholars, they say the opposite. So there is what? Difference of opinion. Can I recite the Quran on behalf of my dead uncle? Surah An-Najm. Or Al-Dhariyat, or Tur, or Waqi'ah. I'm going to recite it for his what? His behalf, not for my reward. Is that permissible or not? And this was the view of Imam Ahmed, he says. Ahmed ibn Hanbal. So if you see someone reciting the Quran, and they say, I'm going to do it for my deceased daughter, or my deceased son, or my deceased husband, you can't just run and rush and say, oh, you're upon innovation. You're upon bid'ah. You can't do that. We'll throw you out of the masjid. He says that's the view of Imam what? Ahmed. Does that mean that it's correct? No. Does not mean that it's correct just because Imam Ahmed said it. But it means that your inkar cannot be so vicious and merciless unless you're willing to say the same thing about Imam Ahmed, which we know that you what? You won't do. That's the point. Not saying that it's a dalil just because Ahmed said it. Moving forward. As far as prayer, he says, وَأَمَّا الصَّلَاةِ, prayer, وَسَائِرُ الطَّاعَاتِ, and any other act of obedience. Alaykum salam. Any other act of obedience. فَلَا تَصِلُهُ عِنْدَنَا وَلَا عِنْدُ الْجُمْهُورِ, He says, then according to us, and most scholars, they do not get the reward. The reward cannot be donated. Zakah, dhikr, tawaf, enjoining the good, forbidding the evil, any good, any act of obedience, ta'ah. He says the reward does not go to them, according to us and according to most of the scholars. وَقَالَ أَحْمَدُ يَصِلُهُ ثَوَابُ الْجَمِيعِ كَالْحَجِّ. Ahmed said that the rewards of all of those deeds, what? Can be donated. You know what I'm saying this? So the summary of all of this is that is the issue of khilaf among the ulama of Islam with regards to donating good deeds for the dead. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You think that it's wrong or incorrect, that's totally fine. Lakin, do not force your view upon others and say that they're innovators and call them Sufis. You understand this? And say that they're wrong and they're upon dalala. واضح? That's the qasd right there. طيب. Moving forward. That's what Nawawi rahimahullah says regarding that issue. And obviously, that's a summary of the what? Of the issue. And if there was a student of knowledge who read Al-Minhaj, and that's all he had or knew on the issue, that would be good. Everyone understand this? If you didn't read 3 or 4 or 5 other books, if that's all you had on the issue, that would be what? That would be good. Someone asks you a question, you give a class, whatever, you know that that's the summary of the issue. طيب. Moving forward. The ulama of Islam, we don't want to get stuck on this or discuss this in depth. But why do they differ on this issue? The scholars who say that there's only sadaqah, dua, paying the debt, certain types of hajj, and certain types of fasting, they say the only reason why it stops there is because that's where the text stops. That's where the what? The text stops. The hadith doesn't go to to prayer or dhikr or qira'at al Quran. You understand this? And as for those scholars who say that all good deeds can be donated to the deceased Muslim, they use other proofs and generalities. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. Any good that you do, even if it's like a grain or an atom or a piece of dust or dirt, yarahu, he'll see it. So a little bit differ over that extra type. That's enough of that. Back to the hadith 588. Some of the fawaid of that hadith. Number 1, it says, "Inna ummiya uftutilat nafsuha." That my mother suddenly died, or died suddenly. Her life was taken from her, quote unquote. Whether she was killed, or she died in her sleep, or she was healthy, al-muhim, she died suddenly. So this hadith shows us is that everyone suffers from these things. Traumatic experiences, loss of life. Every human being is going to have a taste of this. Even if a person is virtuous, such as the Sahaba, it happens. It's the sunnah of Allah. Allah give, and He also what? He takes. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ. Allah created death and He created life. وَأَظُنُّهَا لَوْ تَكَلَّمَتْ تَصَدَّقَتْ. He says, and I think and I feel, if she had the ability to speak, meaning before death, before dying suddenly, quote unquote, then she would have said, give out my money, empty my coffers and give sadaqah. So this part of the hadith shows us the permissibility of thinking in Islam and using your thoughts, using context clues. It's permissible. You know what? I think it's such and such. It's permissible. And that dhann, what's meant by dhann, أَيْن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ, right? They only follow a dhann, and that which they're what? وَمَا? Anfus. And indeed, from guidance has come to them what? From their Lord. Correct? Sahih? Tayyib. So al-dhann, Allah, He dispraises the mushrikun. إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ. They only follow dhann. Dhann is of different types. There's dhann which is based off of something. Dhann which is scientific, like an educated guess. Dhann rajih, 70% out of 100, 80%. And then there's dhann which is baseless. What you think and what you feel, or what you suspect or assume. Some assumptions, suspicions, deductions are right and others are wrong. Some are based off of something and others are what? totally baseless. Some are strong and others are weak. Everyone understand this? So it's different usages of the word dhann. Everyone understand this? And sometimes the word dhann is even used to mean what? Certainty. الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ they will meet their Lord. Allah doesn't say, and He's not saying that they think they're going to meet Allah. But they what? They know that they're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the word dhann has different usages. Different usages. To think, to suppose or assume or suspect or deduce. It has different what? Usages. Sometimes it's totally bad. Like Allah says about the mushrikun. And it's also bad even if it's based off of something, quote unquote, in light or in front of the text. And that's why Allah says that. Allah says, and indeed, the guidance has come to them from their Lord. You understand this? So this is what the Messenger of Allah is saying, speaking on behalf of Allah. And he's not a liar, he's not mad, he's not insane. And you say what we think. Dhann in light of revelation. That's a problem. Everyone understand this? And the same applies to any other aspect of life. In a courtroom, you have hardcore evidence. Hardcore evidence, and the lawyer or the prosecutor says, I think. I assume. Everyone in the courtroom is going to say what? It's of no weight now, and it's of no value. Everyone understand this? So, and the hadith says, وَأَظُنُّهَا, and I think, if she would have had the chance, if she had the chance to speak, tasaddaqat, she would have said, give charity. He's basing that off of what? Something, or just baseless thought. He's basing it off of something, as his mother in most cases was righteous. She was pious, and she lived her life giving sadaqah. Everyone understand this? Or, Allah knows best, another interpretation, one may possibly say that she was in need of giving sadaqah. Not saying that she was a wicked person. No, we're not saying that about any of the Sahaba. But maybe she was in need of what? Giving sadaqah. If she had the chance to speak, she would have said what? Give sadaqah. So this part of the hadith shows us the permissibility of deducing. The permissibility of assuming sometimes. Extracting things, thinking things, what? Sometimes using the clues. Everyone understand this? Right, moving forward. فَهَلْ لَهَا أَجْرٌ إِن تَصَدَّقْتُ عَنْهَا. This hadith shows us the recommendation of asking fatwa, seeking religious guidance as well. قَالَ نَعَمْ. It also goes to show us that oftentimes answers should be brief. Not all of the time. Sometimes the details are needed. But sometimes the answer should be what? Simple and brief. The Prophet ﷺ said, yes, that's it, period. And he said nothing else. So the answer does not have to be a scholastic essay each and every single time. Tayyib. Moving forward. باب بيان أن اسم الصدقة يقع على كل نوع من المعروف. Chapter 16 says, as-sadaqa means alms, charity, zakat, etc. And it also includes all types of al-ma'ruf, i.e. Islamic monotheism and all types of good deeds. طيب. So you help somebody out with a flat tire. You help someone out by holding the door for them. You're kind and generous to your wife. Anything that you good, which is ma'ruf, is also, or it's included in the term sadaqah. Sadaqah. Sadaqah doesn't just have to be monetary, means money. Everyone understand this? Giving someone a gift could be sadaqah. Being kind and generous and courteous can be also what? Sadaqah. So this chapter heading shows and proves that no one has an excuse not to give sadaqah. $1, hello, how are you? Kif halik, a smile on your brother's face, a true, genuine smile, a jar of honey, a thing of pasta, is all what? Sadaqah. Apple and pear juice, if the brother brings it, can be called what? Sadaqah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. الساعة كم الإقامة؟ 8:15. الساعة كم الآن؟ 7:50. And the Iqamah is at 8:15.
sit there, but he could have called at 8 o'clock.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب العزة والتعالى. طيب. طيب خير إن شاء الله. Let's move forward. Hadith 589. It says حديث أبي موسى رضي الله عنه قال قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على كل مسلم صدقة. قالوا فإن لم يجد قال فيعمل بيديه فينفع نفسه ويتصدق. قالوا فإن لم يستطع أو لم يفعل قال فيعين ذا الحاجة الملهوف. قالوا فإن لم يفعل قال فيأمر بالخير أو قال بالمعروف. قال فإن لم يفعل قال فيمسك عن الشر فإنه له صدقة. Narrated Abu Musa, the Prophet ﷺ said, on every Muslim there is enjoined sadaqah. They asked, if one has nothing, he said he should work with his hands so that he may benefit himself and give in charity. They said, if he cannot work or does not work, he said, then he should help the oppressed, unhappy person. They said, if he does not do it, he said, then he should enjoin what is good, or said, enjoin al-ma'ruf. They said, if he does not do that, he said, then he should refrain from doing evil, for that will be considered for him as a sadaqah. Tremendous hadith. Paramount hadith. Every single Muslim has to give something. If you can't give money, work and give money. If you don't have the ability to work, say something which is good. Help someone out. And if you can't do anything positive or proactive, then at least don't be nasty. At least keep your tongue from others. Disrespecting others, saying things about others, lying, scandal, whatever it is. Protect your own tongue. Yumsik. Hold your tongue back. It's a tremendous hadith that we all need, starting with myself firstly. All of us need this hadith. And when you wake up in the morning or at night, or if you're nocturnal, you don't sleep at night, whatever your schedule is, the beginning and the end of your day and your night should surround or orbit around this hadith. How much charity have I given today? I don't have that much money, okay? Did you teach someone something? Did you smile in your brother's face? Did you help out a sister? Did you donate a bowl of soup to somebody? Did you go visit a sick person, an orphan, a widow? Did you pick something up for someone? Carry bags for some old lady at the market? What sadaqah did you give today? And if you haven't given any sadaqah, what have you said verbally? And if you haven't said anything which is good and positive verbally, how many people have you slandered today? How much disrespect have you given to your husband or your children or your wife? What rumors have you spread? What lies did you make on social media? I had a dream, I saw this in my dream, and you're lying. Are we understanding this? So we have to be mindful of this, brothers and sisters, and the tremendous status of sadaqah in al-Islam, and how the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam did not exclude anyone. He didn't exclude anyone. Tayyip, moving forward. حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كل السلامة من الناس عليه صدقة كل يوم تطلع فيه الشمس يعدل بين اثنين صدقة ويعين الرجل على دابته فيحمل عليها أو يرفع عليها متاعه صدقة والكلمة الطيبة صدقة وكل خطوة يخطوها إلى الصلاة صدقة ويميت الأذى عن الطريق صدقة. Hadith 590 is narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is sadaqah to be given for every joint of the human body. Every day the sun rises. To judge justly between two persons is regarded as sadaqah. And to help a man concerning his riding animal by helping him to ride it or by lifting his luggage onto it, it is also regarded as sadaqah. And a good word is also sadaqah. And every step taken on one's way to offer salah is also sadaqah. And to remove harmful thing from the way is also sadaqah. Hadith is crystal clear. Crystal clear. You drive by someone on the road, do you stop? Do you need help at the gas station, in the supermarket? Everyone understand this? Wherever you come across someone who's needy, that's sadaqah. Naam, walking to the masjid is sadaqah. Saying something which is good and positive is what? It's sadaqah. And no one can say, oh, I can't afford to give sadaqah. I have bills, I have children, I have a husband, I have this, I'm a single mother. Everyone can give some sadaqah on one level, what? Or another. Tayyib. We'll stop here tonight. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa barak. Ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabina wa imamina Muhammad.